Joseph of Jailshead, Book 1, Bloodkin, by Kathy Ashford. Chapter 23. Spring slowly crept its way through Lille. Up on the hill, the bright, shiny green of new growth splintered the gullies between the mansions, and the trees on the quad at the academy burst into bud. One Monday morning in class, we were greeted not by Billy, but by Eliak. It would seem that our sex education was about to begin. Now, I'm pretty sure we all knew where babies came from, and stuff about diseases and infections, but Eliak's classes proved most instructive on the things that they don't teach you at regular school. After meditation, instead of sitting at our desk, she had us relax on the couches down the back. The first thing she explained was the use of contraceptives and other safe sex devices that were constructed from a Neathy-made rubbery substance. She handed around condoms, which everyone blew up into weird, elongated balloons, much to everyone's hilarity. Then she showed us the sheets of thin rubber called dental dams. Talgith elbowed Lalitha as Eliak passed them round for us to inspect. "That's what you and Coco need, eh, Letha?" She blushed bright red, but Eliak pointed a finger at him sternly. "These are not just for use by lesbians, Talgith, although with that attitude you might find it difficult to find a girl to enjoy using one with." Everyone laughed as Talgith slumped back in his seat. "Ouch! Oh, Eliak, I am sorely wounded." After the physical prophylactics, Eliak moved on to the Yavin ones. These involved creating fluid-proof shields in the air directly around one's genitals, or penises and cervixes, as Eliak insisted on using the medical terms for them. She warned us that these Yavin contraceptives took a lot of practice and were not a replacement for physical ones, especially until we had undergone a black smoking ritual. Still, that afternoon we had to practice creating these shields. Eliak thought it prudent for us to do this in private, so after lunch, we got to stay in our rooms. The next day and for the rest of the week, we concentrated on something more surprising. As we had all found before coming to the academy, Neathy bloods tend to set things on fire when in a heightened emotional state. Needless to say, having sex constituted a heightened emotional state, and we spent the next few days learning how to effectively turn off our Yavin so we could be intimate with someone without burning them to death. At the end of the week, I reckoned I had got my Yavin under control, and Eliak was satisfied with our progress. Now, there are a lot of other things you can do in the bedroom with Yavin. She giggled quietly and wrote the name of a book on the board. It's deemed inappropriate to teach these things at such a esteemed educational facility as this academy, but I've made sure the bookshop in the quarter has at least 8 copies of this, if you're interested in further reading. She tapped the name on the board. "Thank you, everyone. I hope you have had an enjoyable week. But please remember, now that you can have sex, it doesn't mean that you have to. There's a right time for everyone, and I hope you will all trust your instincts and wait until then. Have a good weekend." When we got outside, Talgith raced off. "I've got the longest legs. I can get to the bookshop before it closes," he yelled over his shoulder. He returned with a huge shopping bag as we all hung out in the common room, deciding what to do with our Friday night. "Got them!" he cried gleefully, handing them around. "And you'll never guess who it's by." I looked at the front cover of my copy. "Sex and Yavin by Eliak of Lille." Inside the front cover was a reproduction of a portrait of Eliak done by none other than Ashlew. She was sitting up in a bed strewn with pillows and was smiling that coy, dimpled-cheeked smile. "Talgith, how did you pay for these?" "I put them on the hall account. I figured if Min Eve complained when she got it, we could pay her back then." Thomas only had to raise an eyebrow at his Bloodkin. Fine, we'll pay it now. The price is on the front, minus the hall's 10% discount, so I guess you have to give that to Mint Eve." It is an academy expense, Tomo, he grumbled, in a last half-hearted attempt to get out of paying for the book. And then he brightened, seeing the picture of Aliak on the front cover. Shit, I don't know about you guys, but I'm off to bed. He galloped from the room, and Lalitha wrinkled her nose. Ugh. It was, kind of, but I was half inclined to follow his lead. I was intrigued by what techniques there were for making love. I could imagine using them on the Queen. Oh, hell, stop it! I already had a girlfriend. I should be thinking about her. But I simply couldn't get Thaliak out of my head, and if I was totally honest, I didn't want to try. In the weeks that followed, I felt myself pulling away from Sella, and she must have felt it too, because as a result she clung tighter to me. Walking to and from class, at meal times, she even came to try and study with me at nights. Once or twice she had shyly suggested that maybe we could try out one of the techniques from Aliak's book, which I had already read, cover to cover, twice. But I managed to fob her off with one excuse or another. She told me she loved me a few more times, and while I reciprocated in kind, she must have sensed that my heart wasn't really in it. Things came to a head one Saturday in early April. Spring had finally chased winter completely away, and while it had rained a fair bit, the days were getting noticeably longer, and there were a few sunny, warm days, like this particular Saturday when Sella came to see me in my room. Charlie had taken Anna on a picnic to Nello that morning, so we didn't have our lessons with her. They were going just as friends, but I knew he was hoping for something more. No, just as I knew he wouldn't be back until much later that evening. I was sure Sella was going to ask me to sleep with her, and I was fully prepared to accept, but she had something quite different in mind. Jazith, I think we should go up to my parents' place for dinner tonight. I can't. I'm going with Letha and the boys to the Thistle. Oh, but Mama will have bought all the food already. What? You organised it without telling me. This was not good. This was so not good. I didn't really care about going out with my friends, but I definitely did care about meeting Sella's parents properly, and her having organised it without telling me. Well, yeah, I didn't think there'd be a problem. You can't just organise stuff without telling me. Well, I'm sorry. Don't you want to meet my parents? No, it's not that. It's just... Well, what's the problem? Don't you love me? No, And there it was. My opportunity. Come on, man. Grow some balls. Look, Sal. You really are an awesome girl, but... Her head snapped up. But what? She said very quietly, the glimmer of unshed tears beginning to swell in her eyes. Ugh! Oh, sweet little bitch, this was hard. Deep breath. I don't think we should be together anymore. What? She almost shrieked and stepped back. How dare you? And then before I knew it, she pulled her hand back and slapped me. You effing cunts! After everything, you're dumping me. You're dumping me. I'm sorry, I really do like you, but... But what? She wailed, tears flowing freely now. But I just can't. I'm sorry. Yeah, you effing will be, you bastard! She screamed at me, then turned and fled from the room. I let out a huge sigh and fell onto the couch. Shit. It was done. Now I felt a bit weepy too, and my face hurt. Oh, poor Sella. I hadn't meant to hurt her, but I had to. Ugh, this girl business sucked. I figured I should go get Emma, so I blew my nose, rinsed my face in the bathroom, and went upstairs to find her. She was sitting at one of the tables in the common room, reading the paper. I cleared my throat. Emma, can I have a word? She glanced up at me in surprise, took one look at my face, and sighed. Are you and Sally all right? No, not really. She stood and walked with me out to the stairwell. So, what happened? I think I just broke up with her. Is she terribly upset? I nodded glumly. I thought Emma would be furious, but she patted me on the arm gently. You poor boy. Rough, was it? I nodded again. I suppose I should go see her then. I'll need supplies. Supplies? She laughed quietly. Yes, supplies. And seeing as this is your fault, you can go get them. I was confused. Like what? Oh, you know, the stuff girls need when they've just been dumped. Cake, chocolate, wine. No, brandy. Brandy is better. I hardly think she'll want them from me. She called me a cunt. Emma grimaced. Gosh, she must be upset. Well, she won't know they're from you. When you get back, give everything to Lalitha and Mantilly and send them down to our room. Okay. Emma sighed. What happened, Joseph? You two seem really good together. I don't know. It's just stuff. Is there someone else? I felt myself blush. No, it's not like that. Oh, well, it's none of my business, really. I'll go see to her now. You hurry up and go get the things I mentioned. And try to, keep away from her for a bit. She needs time to grieve. Well, I didn't have to be told that. I followed Emma down the stairs and ducked into my room to grab my coin purse. When I passed Stella's room, I could hear the muted sounds of weeping and Emma's comforting voice. Ouch. I felt more than a twinge of guilt, and I hurried past, down the stairs and out into the spring sunshine. In the wine merchant's, I bought the biggest bottle of brandy I could find. Then I walked quickly further into the quarter to the best confectioneer, choosing a big box of mixed chocolates and a large chocolate and cherry gâteau. As I handed over the considerable amount of coins they cost, the confectioneer smiled at me. Someone's birthday, is it? No. I just dumped my girlfriend. He frowned disapprovingly and I rushed on. These are for her. His face relaxed. Young lover's hard, no? Plenty more fish in the sea and all that. Yeah, I guess. As I gathered my package, I heard a chuckle behind me and spun around. I didn't think there had been anyone else in the shop. But there, in the doorway, was a familiar Niathi woman, curiously small, and my throat went dry. What was she doing here? End of chapter 23.